Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to episode 2 of Sci-Fi Annotated. And this is actually a really exciting episode because not only, am I really excited to talk about some of the stuff going on in the sci-fi realm, but also the new Dune trailer came out and it's been teased forever. It's finally out. And I gotta say, so the topics in today's episode, I'm not gonna do a super long intro. I just want to get into it. So the topics in today's episode: first, we got to talk about this Dune trailer. Number two, Daisy Ridley did a Star Wars very heavy interview. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And then number three, if you guys don't mind, we're going to talk about The Boys. And then number four, we may, depending on the time, we may or may not talk Lovecraft Country. I always want to say Lovecraft Horror for some reason, but we may or may not talk about that series. I'm really just kind of like ad hocing it in terms of that fourth one. It really does depend on the time. But getting into our second topic here, I had to stop and start again. This is like my fourth time stopping and starting. Hopefully it's the last time. Please, the last time. Please, the last time. I have to stop and start these segments because people keep like disrupting me while I'm recording. But Daisy really did an interview for Star Wars. She did it, with Jimmy Kimmel Live. Josh Gad, I believe, was filling in and basically was asked about the whole Rey Palpatine thing. And she talks about the whole process and reveals that at the beginning, Lucasfilm was toying with the idea of an Obi-Wan connection. There are different versions, and at one point, she was no one. Interestingly, it came to episode 9, and JJ pitched me the film, and they were like, oh yeah, Palpatine's granddaddy. And I was like, awesome. And then 2 weeks later, he was like, oh, we're not sure. So it kept changing. So even when we were filming, I wasn't sure what the answer was going to be. And then when asked about potentially returning in the future as Rey, Daisy Ridley says, never say never, but to me, the Rise of Skywalker was tied off with a bow. So in my personal opinion, I don't think Daisy Ridley will ever herself in live action come back to play the role. I think if anything, Rey will return, Finn will return, Poe will return in animated. I think that's where it's going to lie. It's going to be an animated movie, a video game cameo, animated TV show appearance more so than a movie. Probably because of that, they'll have flexibility if they don't want to bring back Daisy Ridley or John Boyega or Oscar Isaac, they won't have to. They can just hire a voice actor and kind of go on their merry way. And at the same time, they can tell the story whenever they want. Whether they want to tell the story in between The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, or in between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, which I think has a lot of potential because a lot of change happened during that time, especially because you would want to show Princess Leia training Rey. But obviously, you can't do that in live action at this point. So you would have to do it animated. So that's why I think the future of Rey lies in animation. Now, in terms of being a Kenobi, I don't really know how they would do her being the daughter of Obi-Wan, just because Obi-Wan was kind of old a long time ago. And he died a long time ago. So there's no way your child from Obi-Wan, I would think, would be the age of Rey. It would have to be a much, much older kid, I would think. So if anything, it would make more sense that Rey would be the granddaughter of Obi-Wan, more so than the daughter, which I think, in a way could work. If they made this decision X amount of years ago, creatively speaking, and they knew this is the direction they were going to go, Rey being the granddaughter or the descendant in general of Obi-Wan, I think it could have worked just out of the sheer fact that any questions the fans have, plot holes the fans have, et cetera, you could resolve in the Obi-Wan spinoff series. Now, at the same time, I think this really could have worked because, George Lucas likes this whole poetry thing. Everything rhymes, it comes full circle. And how great would it have been to, instead of having in the past Anakin versus Obi-Wan with Anakin joining Sidious, you have the descendants of Anakin and the descendants of Kenobi coming together to defeat Palpatine. And maybe in a way, Rey being Kenobi is able to do the one thing that Anakin couldn't receive from Obi-Wan way back when, which was redemption. I think that would have been really cool as well to have seen, even though obviously, to make it really rhyme more, you'd have to do more with it. But I think it could have worked from that element as well if they wanted to play that and pitch that to the fans as their excuse for Rey being a Kenobi versus like a nobody. Now, in terms of her being a nobody, I think that works equally as well, just because I was never a fan of her being a Skywalker. I definitely wasn't a fan when I first saw it for sure of her being a Palpatine. Um, and I would have enjoyed kind of the Force being more actively at work here because they basically said the cosmic Force, just like it got involved with Anakin and him being the chosen one, it got involved with Rey. And they kind of instituted, I think we did a video on this way back when, but they had in the official, I think, novelization for The Rise of Skywalker, a passage talking about the Force. Or maybe this was in the official novelization of The Last Jedi. But they had something about how every once in a while, when the Force needs it, the cosmic Force will intercede and basically create a new Jedi, create a new Force bearer that will bring balance to the galaxy. So at one point, the Sith were playing a bunch of games with the Force, trying to create life, mess with life, all that stuff. The Force, the cosmic Force, basically gave it a big middle finger and created Anakin. Now, in the same vein, the Force got, or not the Force, the universe got way out of whack by the events of The Force Awakens. And in between episode 6, and especially once Luke cut himself off from the Force, so I guess really then to episode 7, the Force decided to also kick in the gear again and gave us Rey to explain why she's so powerful. So, I mean, I think it makes sense, just she's just the causation of the Force needing someone to bring balance and to help maintain balance across the galaxy in terms of the light side, dark side, all that stuff. So I just think it works. I think it works a lot better than the convoluted thing they gave us with the Palpatine excuse. I mean, no offense, but the Rey Palpatine thing was really forced. It felt like they were making the Force a superpower, more so than what it was in the original trilogy, which was a lot more. It had a lot more spirituality to it, a lot more philosophy to it. But then you get to the sequel trilogy, and it's like a generic superpower kind of thing, where it's like, of course, Rey is a descendant of Palpatine because she has Force lightning, which I get it for the casual audience viewer, that makes sense. But to anyone that has watched Star Wars, anyone can use Force lightning if you can use the Force, especially if you're on the dark side. It's not like very few things in terms of the Force are exclusive to certain genetics. So I just thought it was kind of weird they tried dumbing it down like that when they did the reveal of Rey Palpatine. I thought that was really dumb. But overall, I wish the best for Daisy Ridley. I know she said before that she was having some trouble getting some roles in movies since Star Wars ended, but I think I just saw she was casted. So, nothing but good things for her. I hope, the best for her, wish the best. And yeah, let's get on to our third topic. But yeah, so thanks for checking out this episode. It was kind of unorthodox just because a lot of people kept disrupting me while I was recording today. The past few times I've been left alone, but today it seems like maybe because I'm doing it later, people are like, what is this guy doing, in this library, all weird. But yeah, so just leave your comments down below. What do you guys think? What would you like to see us talk about on Sci-Fi Annotated? I know I mentioned in the intro part of this episode, I really want to talk about The Boys, and I'm really sad I'm not going to be able to get into it. But yeah, I mean, I'll talk about Lovecraft Country. I said The Boys. Well, I'm tired. I'll get to Lovecraft Country, I think, next episode, just because I want to give it another episode to properly digest what's going on and formulate my thoughts. Because if it's following the book the way I think it is, next episode is going to have a lot to talk about. So I'm really interested in seeing what they go with there, how much of it they one-to-one adapt, and what they do change-wise here and there. Because so far, I think I've liked the changes they've made. I can't really think of anything different from the book that I would say is a drastic negative. I think overall it's a very good adaptation in terms of faithfully following the core elements of the story, yet making some smart changes along the way. But leave your comments down below. What are some other sci-fi fantasy related things you'd like to see us talk about on this podcast? With all that said and done, we'll catch you guys later.